Now, it came from your capacity to spiritually connect within yourself and tap into a source of intelligence that told the body to calm down, told the mind to calm down, and now you're ready to take on the world. Now, some of us use this reservoir very well. We know how to connect up. We don't just connect up in extreme situations. Now that you've heard it from me, you'd know that if you could, for example, just do this, you know you can pray. You can internally, you don't have to pray to a God. You can pray to nature. You can pray to an unseen power. But there's a power in prayer. The moment you pray, there is a body-mind calming effect. So now that you heard that, maybe you will tap into that capacity 2 or 3 times a day and see how it significantly actually makes your brain alert so that you can do your numbers better and for longer, or you are able to deal with interpersonal issues without getting exasperated, and so on and so forth. So the capacity to tap into this form is something that we need to be aware of. Now, you have your whole life. You're 24 or 25 today, and for the next 50 years you'll build a career. Today it is very commonplace to see people in their 70s work. Longevity is becoming better, healthcare is becoming better, so chances are very high that you will not retire. But for you to understand the various angles and aspects and nuances, it takes 10 years of affection and practice for that particular area of work. In my book, The Professional, which I have recently written for, not so much for people like you, but people who are in the workplace, or maybe people like you as well. I have used a word that I learned when defining what's a profession or who's a professional. It's not a word actually, it's a phrase called effective regard. You have to have affection and respect for your profession. You can't just look at your profession as a source of employment. You can't look at your profession as, a money dispensing machine. To begin with, whether you want to do finance, whether you want to do marketing, whatever you want to do, you have to have affection for your profession. And that affection, when you have for a period of 10 years, then you really become a master. Then you are a cardiac surgeon that you enter a room and other cardiac surgeons stand up. The most important, most satisfying thing in being a professional is peer recognition. Right now you have peer rivalry, right? But a time will come when the same peers will say, my God, we really respect you for what you have achieved. That recognition is more important than parental recognition, more important than teacher recognition or recognition from people who are younger than you. Because peers are your most vehement, most difficult critic. They know you the best. So when peer recognition comes your way, that means you have really, really arrived. Okay? And this peer recognition comes only when you have really not only learned the nuances of your profession, but you have given back something to your profession. It's very important to cultivate the mind of discipline. The second important mind is the mind of synthesis. If you look at any problem in this world today, any problem, whether it is solving the overcrowding of Indian streets, overpopulation, it is the problem of cutting down cycle time for production, it is the problem of innovation. Anything which is a problem would necessarily require a multidisciplinary approach to solving it. If anything qualifies to be called a problem, okay, think in your mind, anything, you cannot solve it with mind of any one discipline. So which is very interesting, because just now I said, if you want to be really great, you have to master discipline. But you know what? Mastering that discipline will not fully equip you to solve any problem, because problems are necessarily complex. Whether it's terrorism, population, a turnaround for a CEO of a company that is not doing so well. So here is an interesting situation. You are a master of your own discipline, but a problem requires a multidisciplinary approach. So in addition to knowing your own discipline very well, you're talking about, should I be finance, should I be marketing, should I be this, should I be that? In addition to being a master of a given discipline, you must have the capacity to understand other disciplines and synthesize those disciplines. So imagine that there is a open heart surgery going on. Okay. So who does the open heart surgery? The cardiac surgeon does, right? But whose precision is as important as the cardiac surgeon? The anesthetist. Because the patient has to be kept unconscious for 6-8 hours. And if the anesthetist makes even this tiniest mistake, the heart surgeon's capacity doesn't matter at all. And it's not just the anesthetist. You know, there's an operator, a technician, who actually takes over the heart-lung machine when the procedure begins. When you are doing the heart surgery, the heart functions must continue, right? Now, so it is not even a doctor, it's a technician who takes over then and makes an artificial machine take over both the heart operations and the lung operations. And that person for 6, 7, 8 hours has to have his eyes completely glued on to the digital display of the heart-lung machine and keep making corrections.